We often think we know what pulls us toward someone, their smile, their charm, their confidence, or the mysterious chemistry we just can't explain. But if you've ever found yourself obsessing over someone who wasn't right for you, falling hard for a person you barely knew, or being magnetically drawn to what you consciously swore you didn't want, then you already know there's something far darker, deeper, and stranger at play in sexual attraction. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst and founder of analytical psychology, spent much of his life investigating the mysteries of the human unconscious. While Freud reduced sexual desire to biology and childhood repression, Jung saw something far more unsettling. To him, sexual attraction was not just about mating or pleasure, it was a mirror of our own psyche. It was the unconscious reaching outward, using other people as screens on which to project the parts of ourselves we don't yet see or accept. The darkest truth Jung revealed is this: when we fall in love or lust, it is often less about the other person and more about us. We don't merely see them, we see a reflection of our unacknowledged desires, our hidden shadows, and our unmet needs. What we experience as irresistible attraction may, in fact, be the unconscious dragging us toward wholeness, whether we're ready for it or not. And that means love, sex, and passion, while beautiful, are also riddled with illusions, dangers, and the power to both destroy and transform us. 1. Jung's framework, libido beyond Freud. When Jung broke with Freud in the early 20th century, it was largely because he could not accept Freud's view that libido was purely sexual. Freud saw human behavior as stemming from repressed sexual drives and childhood traumas. Jung argued that psychic energy is far broader. Libido, in Jung's terms, was life energy itself, an expression of the unconscious striving toward growth, change, and integration. Sexuality was one form of this energy, but not its only form. This distinction matters because it reframes attraction. To Freud, when you fall for someone, you're simply expressing repressed biological drives. To Jung, you're touching something symbolic, archetypal, even spiritual. Desire is not just about procreation, it's about transformation. Jung believed that when we're drawn to someone, it often reveals a missing piece within us, a quality we need to develop, but instead of finding it inwardly, we chase it outwardly in another person. Thus, sexual attraction becomes one of the most powerful ways the unconscious communicates. It overwhelms rational choice, disrupts ordinary life, and compels us to move toward experiences that are not just pleasurable but psychologically necessary. Jung was blunt: if you are seized by attraction, it's because your psyche wants something from that encounter, even if your conscious mind doesn't yet understand what. The unsettling implication is that you don't fully control who you desire, the unconscious does. 2. The shadow in sexual attraction. Jung's concept of the shadow is central to understanding why attraction feels so irrational. The shadow contains everything we repress: forbidden desires, socially unacceptable impulses, traits we dislike in ourselves. Because we don't acknowledge them, these traits lurk in the unconscious. But they don't stay hidden forever, they sneak out. Projection. And one of the most common sites of projection is sexual attraction. Think about the restrained, disciplined man who falls for a wild, free-spirited woman. Or the independent, hardened woman who becomes fascinated by a gentle, emotionally expressive partner. In both cases, the attraction is not random. The unconscious trying to compensate for what's missing in the individual's conscious life. We are drawn to people who embody the qualities we've buried in our shadow. What feels like chemistry is often our psyche recognizing itself in disguise. The dark truth here is uncomfortable. We don't necessarily love others for who they are, we love them for carrying parts of us that we've lost or denied. This explains why desire can feel so intoxicating, but also why it fades. Once the projection cracks, once we see the real person instead of our shadow in them, the spell breaks. Attraction, therefore, often starts with illusion. The person isn't who we think they are, they're a mirror reflecting what we haven't yet faced in ourselves. 3. Anima and animus, the inner other. Beyond the shadow, Jung identified two even more profound figures in the unconscious, the anima and the animus. The anima is the feminine image in a man's psyche, and the animus is the masculine image in a woman's psyche. These inner figures are shaped by personal experience and collective archetypes, and they deeply influence attraction. When a man falls head over heels for a woman, it may not be her individuality that overwhelms him. It's the anima within him projected onto her. Likewise, when a woman is captivated by a man, she may be seeing her animus reflected back. This explains why attraction can feel larger than life, even divine. We are not simply meeting a person, we are encountering our unconscious opposite, embodied in them. But the danger is clear. Because these figures carry such weight, the beloved can never live up to the projection. A man who projects his anima onto a woman may demand she embody every fantasy of softness, passion, or mystery, only to resent her when she proves human. A woman projecting her animus may expect a partner to be unfailingly strong, wise, and protective, only to be disappointed. Jung argued that recognizing these projections is crucial. Otherwise, we trap others under the burden of our inner figures, guaranteeing cycles of obsession and disillusionment. 4. The uncanny and the forbidden. Sexual attraction often carries an edge of taboo. People fall for those they shouldn't, the married colleague, the wrong gender according to cultural norms, the rival, the stranger who embodies danger. Jung would interpret this not as moral failure but as a sign of the unconscious pressing against cultural constraints. Repressed desires find expression in the erotic. Civilization tells us what is proper and acceptable, but the psyche contains a vast reservoir of instincts, fantasies, and impulses that cannot be fully suppressed. These emerge in dreams, in art, and most powerfully in desire. The pull toward the forbidden reflects the tension between social order and the deeper archetypal energies of life. This is why myths and religions are filled with sexual transgressions, even the forbidden fruit, Zeus's countless affairs, or the allure of demonic seductresses like Lilith. These figures symbolize the way desire can defy rules, overwhelm reason, and connect us with forces beyond our conscious control. The dark truth is that what attracts us most intensely is often precisely what we, or society, say we must resist. 5. Sexual attraction as possession. Jung frequently described libido as a force that could take possession of a person. Attraction, in its most extreme form, does not feel like a choice, it feels like being seized. This is because archetypes, when activated, carry the intensity of myth itself. Falling in love can feel like destiny, as if some cosmic drama is unfolding through us. In Jung's terms, when we're obsessed with someone, we may be under the grip of an archetype, the lover, the maiden, the trickster, or the seducer. These archetypal energies take over and use us as their stage. That's why people in love or lust often act irrationally, even destructively. They're not themselves, they're possessed by the psyche's deeper dramas. This idea is unsettling. It means our attractions aren't entirely personal. When you fall desperately for someone, it may not be because of who they are, but because they activate an archetypal pattern within you. Attraction, then, is less about two individuals meeting and more about unconscious forces colliding. 6. The pathology of projection. If sexual attraction begins in projection, what happens when we stay stuck there? Jung warned that many relationships collapse under the weight of projection. At first, the lover is divine, flawless, the missing piece. But as reality intrudes, the projection fades, and with it, the attraction. The relationship crumbles under the disillusionment. This cycle explains why some people chase one relationship after another, always falling in love, always falling out. They are addicted to their own projections, mistaking them for the beloved. They never integrate their anima, animus, or shadow, so they keep demanding others carry those images for them. The tragic result, a lifetime of chasing phantoms. The darker consequence is even more painful. When projection is unconscious, it can breed resentment and abuse. One partner demands the other be their fantasy, punishing them when they fail. Attraction that begins in projection can easily turn into disappointment, bitterness, and hostility when the beloved can't live up to the idealized role. 7. Individuation through desire. Yet for Jung, the story doesn't end in despair. The very illusions of sexual attraction can become tools for growth if we have the courage to confront them. Individuation, Jung's term for the lifelong process of becoming whole, often begins with the crises of love. When projections shatter, we're forced to ask, what was I really seeking? What part of me was I projecting? If we can recognize the shadow, the anima, or the animus in ourselves instead of in others, attraction becomes a gateway to self-knowledge. That wild, free partner we crave may be pointing us toward our own need for freedom. That wise, powerful figure may symbolize our own dormant strength. Love, then, becomes less about consuming the other and more about integrating ourselves. This is the hopeful side of Jung's dark truth. Yes, attraction deceives us. Yes, it enslaves us to unconscious forces. But it also provides the very material we need to grow. Desire, when understood, is not just chemistry or fate. It is the unconscious offering us a path to wholeness. 8. Myth, symbol, and erotic archetypes. To illustrate his ideas, Jung often turned to myths. Stories of doomed lovers, divine seductions, and passionate tragedies reflect archetypal truths about attraction. Take the medieval tale of Tristan and Isolde. Their love is irresistible, fated, and ultimately destructive. Jung would say this is because they are caught in an archetype larger than themselves, the lover archetype consuming them. Or consider Pygmalion, the sculptor who falls in love with a statue he carved. This is anima projection in pure form. He cannot see a real woman, only his own inner image reflected in marble. When the statue comes to life, it symbolizes the psyche's power to animate its projections, making them seem real. These myths endure because they dramatize the truth Jung uncovered: sexual attraction is never merely personal. It is mythic, archetypal, larger than life. We are players in dramas far older than ourselves. Recognizing this can help us both respect the power of attraction and approach it with humility. 9. Modern implications. In today's world, Jung's warnings feel more relevant than ever. Modern culture exploits unconscious projection constantly. Advertising, pornography, and dating apps feed on anima and animus images, shaping our desires and keeping us chasing illusions. We're bombarded with archetypal figures: the seductress, the hero, the innocent, and told to find them in others. This environment makes it even harder to see others clearly. Relationships become transactional, attraction shallow, and the cycle of projection and disillusionment accelerates. People swipe endlessly, always looking for the next projection to latch onto. Jung would argue that this is the unconscious gone commercialized, our deepest drives turned into market strategies. Yet the solution remains the same. If we become aware of our projections, if we recognize when we are seeing our anima, animus, or shadow in another, we can break the cycle. Jungian therapy, dream work, and self-reflection all offer tools for uncovering what we're really seeking when we desire someone. In this way, even in a hypermodern world, Jung's insights offer a path to deeper, more authentic love. Conclusion: the darkest truth. Carl Jung did not dismiss sexual attraction as mere instinct, nor did he romanticize it as pure destiny. He saw it for what it is: the unconscious reaching outward, disguising itself in the faces and bodies of others, pulling us toward wholeness through illusion and danger alike. The darkest truth he revealed is simple but profound: we don't truly fall in love with others, we fall in love with parts of ourselves we haven't yet claimed. This truth is uncomfortable because it strips away the fantasy of the one or of attraction as purely personal choice. But it is also liberating. If we can recognize the projections at work in desire, we can stop chasing illusions and begin integrating what we seek. Sexual attraction, then, is both a trap and a teacher. It deceives us with mirages, but behind those mirages lies the path to individuation. To love another fully, Jung would say, we must first confront the darkest truth: the person we're truly trying to meet through desire is ourselves.